I've saved 10,000. Like I've never heard that kind of money. I was so excited. So in all my research, I always hear people say, oh, contact the local banks, contact credit unions, your local banks and all that, right? So I did exactly that. So me being in Illinois, because that's the only state I know, because I've just moved to Georgia then. So it's like, okay, I cannot afford houses in Georgia. Let me go back and look at where I used to live and close by there. So I kept going. Every city by where I lived was higher. I kept going all the way to the little cities, right? The smaller cities. And then I was like, okay, I think I can afford this area. So I did call the banks and I tell them I want to invest in real estate. What do I need to do? Some of them are like, first of all, your papers are not all there, even though you're allowed to work with your OPT, whatever. And some of them would tell me your credit score. So it's a bunch of reasons. And I got rejected. But there was just one bank that was there to listen to me. And they were like, you know what? If you really want to do it, these are the things you don't qualify, but these are the things that you can do. You can go get Capital One. I didn't have a credit card. I didn't know what that was. My scholarship at the university was a work scholarship. I do data analysis for the university and they waive my tuition fee and they give me $1,000 stipend. So with the stipend, I pay my room fees and all the little things and insurance and all that. So I'm left with like $100, go to Walmart, buy groceries. That's it, repeat for the whole 2 years. So I never knew anything about credit cards or how important it is to someone here in the US, especially. So I didn't have, they were like, okay, so the bank suggested go get a credit card, Capital One, at least get two. You work for CDC now, go join the credit union and build your credit. Maybe get a secured card. I didn't even get a credit card when I applied for CDC. They asked me to do a secure credit card, put $300 down, and then pay it off, use it and pay it off until 6 months. So I did all of that the bank suggested. I was like, you know what? I can't wait this long. I went ahead and did it. So I called them back and I say, I did everything you guys said, but I can't wait. So what I did was I went and looked for a property. I didn't stop. I didn't let that discourage me. I kept looking for properties and I just analyzed them just for fun, just analyze. So I saw this property that was like 52, it was a triplex, 52,000. The seller was going through a divorce and they wanted to sell. They're desperate to sell. And it needed work, but I didn't know that at the beginning. They told me on paper that it's going to cash flow $2,000 because the rent are so and so and so. They gave me the rent roll. They gave me everything. So I was like, presented to the bank. I was like, these are the numbers. And I have 10,000 saved up right now. No matter what, I could put 8,000 down on closing costs and everything, 10 grand. I think this will work. They were like, okay, send all the documents. They were like, okay, we'll call you back. And then they were like, they called me back and said, okay, we'll take a chance on you. And they did. And the rest is history. So that's how I started. I later found out so many issues were wrong with the house, but I ended up going through. It taught me everything that mostly 90% of the things that could be wrong in a deal, property. But me going through that process, I learned a lot and it's brought me to where I am right now. Now the property costs for close to 2,000 a month every month and it's on Section 8. And it appraised for higher.
Do you mind sharing which bank you ended up going with for that first property?
Yeah. Yes, it's called Illinois National Bank. It's in Illinois.
So how many banks or credit unions did you have to call and go to be able to get that one person or one bank to take it?
I think I did made a list of all the banks in Illinois. I think I Googled all banks there, all local banks.
And you called?
I went through all of those banks. Yep, I did.
I think this is important, right? Because a lot of times people will try, they're going to try a few, they're going to hear a few no's, and then they're just going to be done, right? And what happened here is that you just kept going until finally you got one bank. That's all you needed. You just needed that one bank to take a chance on you. And here we are 2 years later. I don't even know how many doors you have, right? 29 plus doors. You said something earlier too. I think it's important that we touch on it because it's a very important part of the immigrant experience. You said that you needed to make more money because people rely on you. Whatever your income was, if you had to send however much every month, then you wouldn't have much to save and invest in your future. For anyone listening who might be in the situation where, they're helping take care of some people, they're sending money back home, I think the solution that you came up with is the best one. You have to earn more, right? Find a way to increase your income, increase your cash flow so that you wouldn't just help others and not be able to build wealth for yourself. I think that's very important. And you said that you were doing Section 8 for the most part. Okay, so what attracted you to investing in properties? Do you turn them into Section 8 or are they already Section 8 properties when you buy them?
So when I buy them, they're not Section 8. So the beginning that I wanted to show the bank that I guarantee money. So the banks wants to see that the money is guaranteed, right? I'm not going to be struggled because it's out of state and this is my first time. For me to prove to them that, okay, I can really do this out of state, I was like, let me go with Section 8 route because that's guaranteed money. So no matter what, at the end of the day, because I opened an account with them, they will see the money coming in every month. They will see the 2,000 coming in, and it's direct deposit and it's the first of the month. And the government never fails you when it comes to paying you, right? So that's why I went the Section 8 route. But also because it was during COVID. Remember when I started, it was during COVID, right? And a lot of people were not paying rent. So it didn't make sense for me to find someone and they would stay there and I would not be able to evict them. So going the Section 8 route was great for me.
That's brilliant. And there's a lot of misconceptions about Section 8, right? So it's great to hear that you're doing it and that you're basically highlighting the fact that it's guaranteed money because, again, during COVID, a lot of people didn't pay rent, right? So the thing with Section 8 is that you do have that guaranteed income coming in. How about like troubles with the people who are renting your properties? Because I think there's also a misconception about that.
I never have any issues. Actually, it's not, the stigma is saying, oh, the Section 8 tenants are bad, they're going to destroy your house. It's the person, it's not the program. Does that make sense? Because when I give out a product, when I fix a house, I fix it like I could live in this house. I'm not fixing it thinking, oh, it's Section 8, they're going to trash it. I put vinyl flooring, I do nice paint, I make sure the appliances are working, everything is working, everything looks good. Like I would literally stay in my units, right? In my houses. If you fix a house just because it's Section 8, you put the cheapest carpet, cheapest, it's like, oh, it's Section 8. If you give somebody a trashy product, they will treat it as trash. But if you make it look good, and for me, when I'm looking for properties, I look for properties that are desirable. So I buy the worst house in the best neighborhood. So those people would be happy because they don't want to lose that because their kids are going to those schools. So once I bring in, let's say, a single mom that has 4 kids, right, between the age 4 or 5, because I like to be in that range because I know that no mother wants to put their child in school and then take them out and move again to another school, right? So when you have a mom or a single or a family that are younger, they stay longer. And because the school district is good, they would stay and they would take care of the place. And because a lot of landlords are not fixing their houses to meet that level, my competition is low. Because when I fix a house, when I list a house, I literally get 200 applications because the difference between how I fix mine and my competitors is high. So everyone's like asking me. And when I list a property, I never take it down, even if it's occupied. So I want people, because I'm always fixing houses. So I want people to always inquire, say, oh, this one is booked, but I do have, this one is already taken, but I do have one that's coming up in 2 weeks. So I get the application, I get my tenants in, because the Section 8 process takes a while. So by the time the house is done, they sometimes drive by to look at the house while my contractors are there. So that's how I do it.
So obviously you have 2 jobs and you're a real estate investor. Tell me about your team. Like, how are you able to make it all work?
So it's all about building team. I respect people. And I always get that respect back from people. I treat people the same. I never had anything, now I'm a millionaire. Before I wasn't, I have nothing. So I know how it feels to not have anything or anybody.